Hello, teachers. Welcome back to yet another project-based learning module. And today we will be focusing on My People. This is a grade 6 English module where the concept covered is learning about professions. So before we move ahead, let me just remind you what are a project-based learning modules. So basically, project-based learning modules enables our students to engage and explore in various activities around them. So with that, let's start today's module all about profession, which means people and what they do. We come to the learning objectives. So you have a list of learning objectives and outcomes which are based upon the NCERT and DSRT books. So the learning objectives are to identify different professions, understand the roles of various professions, ask questions about professions, and the students will be able to comprehend a passage about professions. Whereas the learning outcomes, the students will respond to oral messages, telephonic communication in English and communicates them in English or home language, reads a variety of texts in English, and they will have an idea to sequence the events. They will use meaningful sentences to describe imaginary situations through speech and writing. They will write grammatically correct sentences and they will be able to draft or revise and write short paragraphs based on verbal, print, and visual clues. With that, moving ahead, we always have a leading question. And for this particular module, the leading questions ask what happens in the office? So these are the various pop-up questions in the minds of our learners. What do they do sitting in one place? What are they working on the computers? Who are these people and what are they doing? Moving on, we have activity 1, remember, circle and speak. So you will have a list of pictures of people that the students may have seen around them. All they need to do is recall where they have seen them and match them to the places that they have seen them. So if you see, for example, the first profession talks about doctor, and we find doctors in a hospital. So likewise, the students can match the other professions to the places given. Activity 2, before we move ahead, there is something called as professions. And what does this term mean? So what is profession? A profession is a job that someone performs after they are trained for it. Doctor, teacher, policeman or policewoman, auto driver and farmer are different professions. Likewise, there are many more. So you can ask your learners to name more. Activity 2, let's find professionals. So here the students will talk about different professional people that they find around them. So for example, we have the first one, teacher. The teachers at your school help you to understand different subjects by teaching them to you every day. There are many teachers at your school. Can you name a few? So the students will be able to write the names of their teachers who help them to learn in their classrooms. So moving on, activity 3 is again another continuation of let's find professionals. So here they are going to interview their elders, ask them what work they do, how they do their work, where they work, and what they wear when they are working. Once the learners find out all these details, they write them in the space given below. Yes? So this is basically an interview with their elders and what kind of work do they do. Teachers, you can also give them an example by having a small interview in the classroom. Moving on, we have a reading comprehension which helps to enhance the reading and listening skills of the learners. So, here is a small passage that the learners are going to read along with the teacher. So, teachers, let's begin. Once upon a time, in a village far away, lived a little girl named Shilpa. Shilpa loved to read books. One day, her mother bought her a special book filled with stories about doctors, farmers, teachers, and many other professions. Excitedly, Shilpa flipped through the pages, learning about all the amazing things people did for work. Shilpa wondered about the different types of professions people did in real life. Later that day, Shilpa's mother asked her to fetch a pail of water from the village well. As Shilpa skipped along, she saw elders busy with their work. She decided to find out a little more about their professions. First, she met Mr. Kumar. What is your profession, Kumar uncle? Shilpa asked him. I am a farmer, Shilpa. I have a farm and grow vegetables and rice. I then sell it to the local market for money, replied Mr. Kumar. Then she met Mrs. Sumalata. What is your profession, Suma auntie? Shilpa asked her. I am a teacher, Shilpa. I teach children how to read and write, replied Mrs. Sumalata. Shilpa also missed Mr. Rao, the carpenter, and Mrs. Khan, the tailor, who showed her their tools and explained what they did. As Shilpa walked, she met many more people: the doctor, the potter, the barber, and even the street sweeper. Each day, each one happily shared their job with her. By the time Shilpa returned home with the water, she was excited. She had learned so much about different professions and how important they were. When Shilpa told her mother about her adventures, her mother smiled and said, one day you will have your profession too, Shilpa. But for now, focus on your studies. They will help you become what you dream to be. With newfound inspiration, Shilpa eagerly drove into her studies, dreaming of the day when she would have her profession just like the people she met in the village. Wasn't that interesting? So, once you're done with the reading of the passage, you will have a set of questions followed by a few options. So you may guide your students to answer these questions referring to the content of the passage given. The students may read the passage again before answering the questions. Moving on, we have activity 5, which talks about your profession. So, just like Shilpa, you will also have a profession someday. What do they want to become? Think and write about it. So, the students you can advise or you can ask your students to draw a picture of what they want to be when they grow up and why do they want to be that person or why did they choose that particular profession. They may write in the space given below. Next, we move on to a practice sheet, which is always followed by the PBL towards the end. So, in this practice sheet, it concentrates more about professions and the places they work for. So, you can guide your students by reading the questions and the options. You may also wait for them to answer the questions and then an explanation can be followed for the same. For more clarity, the students can use the OMR sheet to shade the answers from the practice sheets onto the OMR sheets. This will give them a live experience on how to use a OMR sheet. With that, complete solution to all the practice sheets provided at the end of each PBL, please refer to Teachopia and you may follow the path given below. So I hope this PBL learning module has been helpful and I would say thank you.